r/askreddit. Were you ever that one in 1 million? If so, what's your story?
I was struck by lightning while talking on a landline. This was in the early 90s. Lightning struck the telephone line and traveled through the handset to my ear. My parents drove me to the air. I couldn't talk very well. My brain knew what I wanted to say, but my mouth didn't want to say it. I had a terrible stutter. My doctor told me that I had had a dose of good old-fashioned electroshock therapy. My speech was normal the next day, but I get a terrible headache whenever a thunderstorm comes through. Edit. AutoCucumber edit 2. Thank you for the gold.
I slept wrong one night and pinched a nerve in my neck so severely I lost the right side of my body. It just went silent like it wasn't there for months. I woke up in the worst pain I've ever experienced and couldn't talk, move, or do anything. The doctor thought I was having a stroke. My doctor had never seen a case as severe as mine, and it was purely a freak accident. Recovery took months, but I have use of my leg and hand again, with some numbness. Other than pain and spasms, I'm mostly back to normal.
I have completely unexplained hearing loss in my left ear. I had a cyst in it when I was 6, and the surgery to remove it and fix the ear was successful. When I was about 12, I woke up one morning with a killer headache and ear ringing, and after 3 days it went away, and so did my hearing. Doctors did multiple examinations and an MRE, and they said it should be totally functional. It just isn't. 1 in a million case.
Did your aunt ever look at steroids for sudden sensory, neural hearing loss? I had almost the exact thing when I was 14. Woke up one day with ringing in my ear, and by noon all sound was gone on my left side. I also had an MRI looking for a brain tumour, but they never found a cause. I was able to regain 50% hearing with a heavy regimen of steroids, but I know that treatment is less effective as time goes on. The weird thing is that shell occurs mostly in people in their 30s, 60s, and when I had my hearing loss, 2 other teens in my town also got very similar shit.
My friend woke up last year with no hearing in his ear. 3 different doctors said it was temporary and nothing to worry about. The 4th doctor said it was an emergency and gave him steroids. This was 3 days after it started. My friend recovered his hearing after a week. Apparently, the quicker you get onto the steroids, the greater the chances of recovering.
For my 7th birthday, we went to Disneyland. They just happened to be having a car a day giveaway when we were there. For my 7th birthday, Mickey Mouse gave me a Pontia K Firebird.
I have a very rare skin disease that only 1 in a million people get. I've been told that I'll probably never meet another person in my lifetime with it. Haley disease for those interested. Edit. For those asking. 1. I was diagnosed by a team of dermatologists. They had to take a biopsy of one of my many outbreaks. A picture of that particularly horrible rash is currently in a medical journal, or so I've been told. 2. Yes, it is a very painful disease. 3. Yes, I get steroid injections for it. I also get Botox injections to control sweating and prevent some of my outbreaks. 4. No, I don't know if you have this disease. You have to get a biopsy. 5. Yes, it's inherited. My mother was a carrier, and I've been told my grandmother had the disease for more than half her life.
So rare they named it twice. Edit. According to approximately 624 other Redditors, Manhattan is the other name.
Look out, I think Haley likes you.
I once guessed a 6-digit random combination on the first try. It was the only try I planned to give as a kind of scratchpad whatever moment.
Really 1 in a million. I was in 2 separate car crashes in 2 separate cars in less than 45 minutes apart. Also go US/Sharkboy, edit. I wasn't the driver for either crash. First car was hit from the side. Friend came and picked us up. Car lost traction and we slid off the road and hit a pole. Neither was that bad, just poor timing.
I was too, if you count the ambulance. Someone pulled out in front of me and I hit them because I had no time to brake. Had some bad back pain, so an ambulance took me to the hospital. On the way there, someone pulled out in front of them.
What kind of fuckwit pulls out on an ambulance?
I've got the middle toes on both feet webbed. So did Stalin. Quack! This feels like a fun fact, but at the same time a threat.
Agree. That's a significantly menacing quack.
My ex was struck by lightning several times and lived. Died in a car accident, though, so not as lucky as he claimed to be. Being struck by lightning once is unlucky. Being struck by lightning multiple times is lucky.
If you get struck once and survive, you know God has a plan for you. But when you get struck a second time, you realise what plan he has. Edit. My first silver. Thanks.
I was on Tinder and was talking to this guy. He was supposed to meet me for dinner. I texted him and no answer. Then I texted him on Tinder, said that he couldn't make it. However, I got a text back from the number. It wasn't the guy that I thought I texted. It was the actor Gerard Butler. I thought he was lying until he FaceTimed me. Nice guy. Edit. Well, I didn't think this post would blow up. First, I didn't go on a date with him instead. He lives on the West Coast, and I live on the East Coast. I didn't keep his number because I respect his privacy. When he FaceTimed me, he was super casual and asked me why I was using Tinder, and he wished me luck on it. Oh my god, my friend's sister used to date him way back in the day before he was famous. We are Scottish. Said he was a lovely guy. Also, funny story number 2, another friend was over in Edinburgh for drinks one night, and one of the girls she was with went up to a guy alone at a table and invited him over to their table. He said thanks, but no, it's okay, he's with a friend. She kept pestering him to come over, until eventually she said to him, "Wait, you look familiar, like the actor from that film." He said, "No, it's not me," and laughed.
From yours and original poster story, it sounds like Gerald Butler is everywhere in Scotland.
Had 211 seem benign tumours growing in my spine, resulting in gradual paralysis from my chest down. They had no idea how the tumours formed. Surgery took 11 hours when they thought it would take 4 because the tumours were so complexly woven throughout my spine. I now have pretty much half a spine in chronic pain, but I'd take that over losing my life from paralysis and being unable to breathe. Edit. Wow, thank you for all the support. I didn't realize this was going to blow up as much as it did. If anyone has specific questions and wants to message me, feel free. I am at your service. Thanks again for all the support and love. It made my day. So, my dad has this, minus one of the tumors. Experienced not so severe back pain his whole life. One day it just became unbearable, but doctors said you're just getting old. Go home and take some Advil. Lol, my dad said, frick that, went to a private clinic and had an MRI done on his back. Wouldn't you know it? Tumor in his spine. Poor Sob felt so much better after the surgery that the next day he walked and met my mom and I at the hospital doors when we arrived.
I have an unknown type of autosomal dominant centronuclear myopathy. My type of it is so rare that they haven't even seen it before. Getting diagnosed was a multi-year struggle. They pretty much had to rule out everything else. It doesn't feel great to be in this club by myself. Countless blood draws, miss, CAT scans, and a biopsy and genetic test. So far, it looks like my father and I are the only ones with it. Yay, it. Thank you guys for all the kind messages and support. I really do appreciate it. If anyone is going through the struggle of getting a diagnosis, message me. I can't help with the diagnosis, but I can help with the diagnosis, but... Second edit. As a researcher has pointed out, this isn't really rare. Just a type that hasn't really been seen in the population yet, meaning there is certainly more people out there, just not tested or diagnosed yet. In the future, I'll probably be 1 in 50,000 to 1 in 100,000. Sorry to make everyone think I was 1 in a million. My brother and I have a new type of muscular dystrophy apparently. The biopsy sucked and I hate the permanent scar. Keloid scarring, so it's bumpy and weird. Years of tests and being sedated for things. The files were so large it was insane. Going to the special kids hospitals up until we were old to say no, enough is enough.
Got a rare but potentially deadly rash from a medication. I laughed when I first saw the bottle with the warning and said, knowing my luck, I'd get it. I did. Ended up in a burn unit with my skin sloughing off. Not a fun week. Edit. Holy shit, big response. It's been amazing to hear how many people have similar stories and are taking meds with high risk, And for those wondering what med, it was Lamictal/lamotrigine for me. Stephen Johnson's Weird Gelatin.
I'm allergic to the cold. Like, literally. I get intense hives, swelling, I pass out and throw up. Doesn't even have to be freezing. Below 45 degrees without a jacket. And I can't do it. I have to carry an EpiPen with me in the event that I drink something too cold or have a severe reaction.
Edit. Thank you, kind stranger, for my first silver.
I own a Lego minifigure called Mr. Gold. This particular minifig was to celebrate the 10th series of the Lego figurine line. They're sort of like grab bags, you can feel for them, but you don't know what minifigure you're really going to get. So because they were celebrating, they thought it was a good idea to only make $5. 0 of these. Anyways, when I was younger, and even now, I was really good knowing which figures they are simply by looking at the figures pieces and feeling out those pieces. I really liked the minifigures because I thought they were really cool and unique. So I really wanted Mr. Gold, and me and my mum hunted for it for a long time. But after a while I gave up. Then one day I was at the Lego store and felt the distinct diamond piece and freaked out. Finding this figure was a downright fantasy. I'm 18 now and still want to relive 12-year-old me's pure joy as he opened the packaging. Edit. Thanks for making me Mr. Gold twice. Also 2 words.
The first one I don't know about the exact odds, but I was born on 7/7/77 and weighed 7 pounds and 7 ounces. Sadly, though, I clocked in at 6:50 a.m. The other is that around the age of 14, I started to notice the outsides of both of my feet, starting to get much whiter. After a couple of years of buying expensive custom-made shoes, they decided to perform surgery on my feet. Turned out I had extra muscle growth along with something else I don't recall at the moment. My podiatrist told me he submitted a scholarly article on it. May also have been genetic, as when my dad was 3. He developed an extra toe growing out of each one of his big toes.
So close to 777M.